Hello, everyone. Welcome. Sideline Podcast, episode 205. A lot to go over today. We got week 14, I believe, in the NFL. We got to preview these games this upcoming week. We got the NBA to talk about. Major trade incoming, maybe, possibly. We're going to talk about that. And then also we got the CFP, college football. I think we got conference championships this weekend, so we'll preview some of those games. So, all that being said, stay tuned. Hello, everyone. We're back. Let's get into this. Let's start with the NFL. We got week 14 action, I believe. They got some Thursday night action going on right now. We're recording on Thursday night. Cowboys versus Lions. Big game. Big game for both teams because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Lawrence, the winner of this game basically has over 80% chance of making the playoffs. Whoever loses is basically it's a good chance they don't make it. So it's a big game for both teams.
I think it's only 80% if the Lions win. I think it keeps the Cowboys at around 50%. But I do know that if either team loses, they're both below 0.25%. I think the Cowboys only have like an 8% chance if they were to lose. Honestly, the matchup for me is giving favorable to the Cowboys. The Lions are just coming into this game very beat up, very exposable on the defensive side. We've seen it time in and time again that they can get exposed. Now, we've seen it the Cowboys too, but they've kind of stepped up in the recent weeks, whereas the Lions have not. And honestly, Cowboys are hot, and you kind of have to ride them until they're not.
Yeah, fair enough. Amon-Ra is a go for this game. Not sure how much of an impact he's going to make. He didn't practice all week with that sprained ankle, so if anything, if he can be just a decoy for a good chunk of snaps, then he'll give them a chance. But I think you're right. The Cowboys are riding hot into this one, so we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But we got other than that, we got Sunday games. We got the 1 o'clock window. I guess I'll go first. Very obvious game that we should watch is the Bengals and Bills. This game actually got flexed, Lawrence. This was in the 4 o'clock window, and then they flexed it a few weeks ago. I guess because they didn't think Joe would be back, but here he is. He's back. Looked like he never missed a beat. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I'll let you go first on this one.
I think the more so of why this was flexed to the 1 o'clock is maybe because the Green Bay and the Bears game needed to be moved to the 4 o'clock, or it needed to have more emphasis on it. Which personally, to me, I mean, fair. I mean, I'm definitely intrigued of what Joe Burrow can change, but still, another game where I feel like the Bills have every right and reason to win the said game. They just got to put the pieces in all together. Personally, for me, their defense, as suspect as it is, I feel like it's just not as suspect as the Bengals one. And if the Bengals were at home, I think I could be swayed to take them. But being on the road, 2 weeks in a row, it's not even just doing it 1 week. It's doing 2 weeks in a row on the road. But they do have some extra time to practice. However, the Bills, they absolutely dominate and beat up and feel confident and feel great about themselves just as much as the Bengals do after what they did to the Steelers.
Very true. This is all factual. I'm gonna take the Bengals in this one. I think this is I honestly think this is definitely a good game. I think Bills defense very suspect. I think they've been suspect all year, and with their players seemingly falling left and right, I think that gives them even less of a chance in this one. But the Bengals, at least defense been picking up, at least coming out the bye. I think out the bye, the defense has been top 10 in defensive EPA. So they definitely, I guess you say, turn a corner. Hopefully it's not a 3-game fluky streak, but I think in this one they just got to contain James Cook. I think last week they did a pretty good job of containing King Henry outside of those 2 long runs. You take those out, Derrick Henry wasn't really effective in that one. So similar game plan. Um, in this one versus James Cook. The receivers not really, not worried. I don't think they'll be too worried about that. DJ Turner playing like a top 5 corner in the league, hasn't allowed a 100-yard receiver since I think week 2. So definitely deserving of at least Pro Bowl, if not All Pro considerations for us. And then Joe just got to keep on going. He looked a little rusty. Maybe he might be rusty in the first quarter, but for this one, he's going to have to go toe for toe for Josh, because Josh is going to will his team to win. Um, Hopefully, the defense can force some more turnovers and give Joe a couple extra possessions. But I think the Bengals can have a good chance of winning this one. They just got to commit to running the football. They've been pretty good at that. I think they're a top 5 rushing teams for the past couple of weeks. Chase Brown, like I said, 6 games straight of 100 yards scrimmage yards. So he's running the ball pretty well, catching the ball at the backfield, pass blocking pretty well too. So him and Piron are a nice little duo this year, and T should be back as well. So I think there's going to be a little too much for the Bills to defensively to match up with. I think Bengals are just going to outscore them in this one. So I'm going to take the Bengals at least to very much cover. But I definitely see them winning. Seahawks, Falcons, I feel like it'll be another good one. Falcons are like, they're on the ropes. Like their playoff hopes live and die on this one. So, what? I guess they got Kirk is still in there. I don't know if Kirk can beat the Seahawks defense, but nonetheless, I think it's still an interesting game.
I don't I like okay. I'll ride with you that it's interesting because pretty much it's do or go home. But I believe the Falcons will be going home. I'm not buying like the Kirk Cousins Falcons being a cohesive unit. I think it's kind of clear based on gameplay so far since he's been in that he hasn't really been practicing with the team since they took away his starter position, and I guess he probably just really didn't believe he was going to get another chance to get back in there, which kind of relates back to the podcast he was on earlier this season complaining about losing a position. Well, they went with the younger guy. He didn't look too bad. He got hurt. Now you're thrust in there, and voila, you're not really connecting with them. You lost to the Jets. But the only thing that I think I can agree with you is it seems like a fluke game. Seattle's been kind of dominating people and beating up people, and this game's only a 7-point spread. And from what we know, the Falcons are pretty bad, even at home. They lost to the Panthers 30-0. So for the odds makers to give them a little bit of a 7-touchdown cushion, it says a little bit more than I think it does.
Yeah, I think interesting to see what happens in this one. Honestly, the rest of the 1 o'clock window, besides the Colts, Jags, and Steelers, Ravens, is kind of Like I'm not going to be watching Commanders, Vikings, or Dolphins, Jets, or Saints, Bucks. I think those are kind of washed. But Colts, Jags. This probably has wild card implications because they're in the same division, right? So I think this will determine a lot of that. Yeah, Daniel Jones, definitely we can tell his leg is definitely bothering him. He's not moving well at all. I think he's just toughing it out. Can do enough to just be mobile in the pocket, but he's not really taking off, running the ball, doing the usual Danny Dimes stuff. So I don't know if this Jags defensive front can get to him. It's going to be a tough day for the Colts, especially if they can neutralize JT like the past couple teams have. The Colts really just don't have enough elsewhere to kind of pull these games out. So what do you think about this one?
I think much to like New England and Miami, the Colts in Jacksonville, it just does not it does not mix well. I think the Colts always have a hard time playing Jacksonville in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I think the momentum is here on Jacksonville's side. We know that Jacksonville can get it done on the ground. They've done it time in the past. Um, Lawrence just had a good game passing. I know it was against the Titans, but it's one of those get back games. Get yourself right in the head. The Colts are on a spiral down, and it's mainly just because of this small few injuries they've had. But like Dimes not being able to be, I would say, a dual threat with his legs a little bit, like you said, really impacts their whole game overall. And honestly, I just give the edge to the Jags. I feel like they're a little less beat up. They put it together last week. It's divisional game. There could have been a fluke out there. There wasn't. Um, so yeah, give me the Jags in this one.
Right there with you. Give me the Jags. Less beat up. Colts, Daniel Dimes beat up. Sauce is beat up. So not looking good for them. Then we got the Steelers Ravens. They're gonna beat each other up. This is the first of two games. I think they play each other again. It might be the last game of the season. So playoff implications for sure. They're playing in Baltimore. Lamar did not look like Lamar last week. Honestly, hasn't looked like himself since he got hurt. Aaron Rodgers definitely could tell the hand. His wrist is kind of bothering him. Steelers are up and down. They just been up and down all season. It's trending that they're just mostly down after getting their ass whooped last week. I'm very interested to see how this one goes with the fellow AFC North rival teams. What about you, Lawrence?
Well, I don't know. I feel like the Ravens should kind of go out there and dominate. Honestly, I feel like if the Steelers, I don't know who they've got going out there at quarterback, but I feel like their only way to have a convincing chance is to throw Mason Rudolph out there. Rodgers just did not look good last week, and trying to grasp the football with a club on your hand, it just doesn't really work. For much of that reason, I'm going to give it to the Ravens. They're at home. It's going to be a defensive grind and fight. And I think the difference will be the fact that one quarterback can actually throw a ball and the other one's fumbling around and trying to hold it.
Yeah, I got the Ravens in this first of the two matchups. Give Aaron Rodgers a few weeks to get a little bit more healthy in that wrist, or Mason Rudolph, maybe he'll end the season. But I think the Ravens take the first one. Moving to the 4 o'clock window, of course, we got the game that was flexed, the Bears-Packers. Another divisional matchup, NFC North battle up in Green Bay. Both teams are looking pretty good. No complaints from either team. Love is playing well. Caleb Williams, even though his passing completion percentage is not the best, I think he's like the lowest in the league at 58%. They're still finding ways to win, so that's pretty impressive. Who do you have in this one?
For me, I don't want to say this is the game where the Bears come back down to earth. So I think I'm going to ride it with the Bears one more week. They finally got a 2-score win. I think that was really big and impactful. I also believe that the Packers, I wouldn't say took advantage of, but they definitely aided in playing the Lions in sort of a skid, and without a lot of their best players due to injury. But I will also have to give them props for also losing some of their top guys in said game. And I think that becomes a little bit more impactful in this one because we just saw the Bears go crazy on the run. And now the Packers lost number 95 in the middle of their D-line, which is really going to, hurt their run-stopping ability. We've seen them get toasted before, so the Bears should be able to go back to it at some point or at any point in this game. And you know what? I would love to see the Bears finally take one in Lambeau. Probably hasn't been done in like 10 years at this point, but I think it can be done.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Packers in this one. I think just them being at home, getting a good win versus the Lions last week, even though they took advantage of Amon Ra being hurt and other people. But I don't know. I got a good feeling about the Packers. We got the Rams, Cardinals. Uh, Not much to say on this one. Honestly, I think the Cardinals pretty much washed. Texans, Chiefs, the night game though. I think this it has pretty big playoff implications. I think if the Chiefs lose this one, I think you might as well just call it. Um,
For either one, whoever loses it is pretty much calling it.
yeah, this is very important to both teams. Texans are probably one of the hottest teams in the AFC right now. They're getting their group together. Davis Mills won 3 games without CJ playing. And then CJ comes back and played a pretty good game last week. So I don't know. The Chiefs, they haven't looked like the Chiefs of old all season. Kind of been up and down like the Steelers. I don't know. I don't know, Lawrence. What do you think about this one?
I'm going to give it to the Texans personally, due to their defense, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I would come down to penalties, right? I think D'Amico Ryans has a more disciplined team, and we see in this season a fair amount. The Chiefs just have untimely penalties. They either cost them third and short to now have third and long, or now we had the kick on fourth down instead of you know having a chance to go for it. I think there's a lot of things that stack up on their penalty woes. Because I think it was last week they literally lost their drive, their final drive, on just the fact that they just accumulated penalties when they didn't need to. But man, I'm still gonna go Texans. I just think D'Amico Ryans defensively has got the team wired. I think C.J. Stroud kind of has something to prove after Davis Mills did kind of come in there and like kind of cook. So it did raise flags and questions to what he's been doing. I wouldn't say all season, but uh, f- for how it's going, because he was not hitting on much.
Yeah, to start the season, yeah, CJ was definitely struggling, but as it progressed, he got a little bit better. But the Chiefs, yeah, they're just beat the hell. Team obviously isn't the same as it used to be. Offensive line is beat the hell. The rookie left tackle Simmons, he's on IR, had surgery on his wrist. He might not be back until the playoffs if they make it. Then you see all the other offensive linemen got are on the injury report. So just all around, it's just rough for the Chiefs. Um, I think they're at home, but even still, like I don't think they have enough firepower offensively. Like they're just not clicking, especially going against this Texans defense that they're playing good on the road. They're playing good at home. Like it doesn't matter what the Texans defense is playing. You're gonna get one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL. So I just don't think Mahomes and Co have enough cohesiveness um, to just be able to score enough to beat the Texans. And even though the Texans don't have a lot offensively, I think CJ can give them just enough of an offensive edge to kind of squeeze out a victory in Arrowhead. So give me the Texans as well. And Monday we got Eagles Chargers. No Jalen Carter. We still don't know if Herbert's going to play. I
I
think
would
that's really
probably
what.
assume that Herbert doesn't play.
I heard at the very least that Harbaugh said that Trey Lance will be getting first team reps at least under center. So if they need to go under center for anything, he'll be the quarterback for that. So uh, your guess is as best as mine. I think even with Herbie playing, I think I don't know. It's a toss up because no Jalen Carter. We've seen how the Eagles look without Jalen Carter. Even with Jalen Carter, the past couple weeks they've been getting the ball ran on them, which is very
Or
surprising. So I don't know. The Chargers love to run the ball. So what are your thoughts?
well, I think the Chargers. I think I forgot what stat line it was, but they have like the third or fourth ranked defense overall. I think there's a good chance that they keep the score
Mm-hmm.
low, for sure. However, I don't know. I truly feel that if there is any kind of liability on the quarterback end for the Chargers, aka I'm not buying the Trey Lance getting it done for him and making sure the game goes smooth. But I also think that the NFL
Yep.
has constantly messed up and putting the same teams in prime time over and over again. And I think a lot of us have the prime time fatigue of the Eagles, but they also haven't been performing in live time recently.
Mm.
But another live game they probably didn't need. They already have plenty. And honestly, it's if you can stop Jalen Hurts' arm, then you can win the game. And I think the Texans, or not Texans, sorry, the Chargers are going to run that same philosophy until it fails.
Yeah, I think if they can stop the passing attack, the Chargers got a good chance in this one. But yeah, I don't think Herbie with a club on his wrist is going to really be enough. So I'm gonna go Eagles in this one. And with that, that's pretty much NFL Week 14. Let's switch over to the NBA. We got a kind of developing situation here. Giannis, if you don't remember, he quietly asked out this offseason with an exclusive kind of negotiation with the Knicks taking place. No deal could get done. Basically, it was a handshake agreement that Giannis would basically finish the season with the Bucks and reevaluate this upcoming offseason. But after the Bucks having a pretty decent start, but now falling back to earth and are the kind of poop team that we thought they would be, um, it might be pretty much moving up that timeline. I think there's a very, very good chance, Lawrence, that Giannis gets traded by this trade deadline in February. I think this offseason, I don't think it's going to happen this offseason. So just want to get your thoughts on that. Like, do you really think that Giannis will move up the timeline? And if so, based on how the different teams on the NBA have done so far, like, what do you think some good destinations for him?
Oh, sorry about that. Something just came up real quick. But for Giannis, I don't know. He didn't owe them anything. And honestly, bringing him a Kyle Kuzma into his, I wouldn't say his locker room, but bringing a Kyle Kuzma to him to try to, I don't know, co-host or coerce him to stay. And then I would say pushing his brothers upon him too to make him feel more at home. But I think we've seen this a time or two when you clean out your whole Instagram and you pretty much tell everyone, "Yeah, I'm up. Come get me." I think that's the moniker, and maybe someone will come and get him. But I think they can. It all goes back to them. I think the Kyle Kuzma signing, trying to act like that was going to fix the Chris Middleton loss and his production over time. That wasn't. That wasn't. That was fixing. That was pulling a Jordan Poole. Like the Warrior Wizard. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely, like I said, I think the Giannis thing is going to happen this upcoming trade deadline. Like you say, he doesn't owe the Bucks anything. Yeah, they try to salvage the situation. The whole wave and stretch of Dame. You bring in Miles Turner with that cap space that they created. Um, you sign some young, promising guys, even though they haven't really proved much in the NBA, hoping that being around Giannis will make them pop, but nobody's really popped besides maybe AJ Green. Other than that, they really don't have talent on this team besides Miles Turner. Kuzma's looked up and down. So if I'm Giannis, I'm asking out, man. And there's a few teams I would go for. Obviously, the media, the talking heads are going to point to New York, but I don't think New York has enough, Lawrence. I think you know a player based trade. I don't know if you're the Bucks, if you want Cat and Mikal Bridges, like that doesn't do enough. That doesn't do enough for you because then you just have two guys that are just up and down. Like Mikal Bridges, I would like as like a second or third piece, but like if Cat's the centerpiece, I don't really like that trade. I would rather have Brunson, and New York's not going to part with Brunson. So I don't see that happening. OKC, I don't see that happening. They don't need Giannis, even though they have everything that the Bucks would want, right? So that's another probably no, but people will probably point to that. Houston is interesting. I don't think Houston would get into it because the Houston is right up there in the West. I don't think they really need a Giannis to put them over the top. I think they need, like, if anything, another smaller move. I don't think you give up, just in case the KD experiment doesn't work out. I don't think you give up everything you have, basically go get Giannis. I think you got to wait for the KD situation to play out. So it leaves me with a couple other teams. I think the favorite, honestly, it's the Spurs, right? The Spurs got a lot of young players. They got Fox, they got Harper, they got Castle, they got all these young players, Vassell, Kelton Johnson. They got a ton of young players. You got a ton of picks. It makes sense. 2 7-footers plus whoever you keep at the point guard. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense there. The Heatles makes a lot of sense. If you told me before the season, I would have said, yeah, the Heat probably aren't in that conversation, right, Lawrence? But the way the Heat been playing, top 4 in the East, where it's been popping off, where it looks like top 5 center trajectory. Just, I mean, he's just coming off the bench. He's not even starting. He's just dominating. Um, a trade revolving around, Hero, All Star last year, Ware, and then whoever else you want. Do you want Wiggs? Do you want Powell? Bam's off limits, but do you want Triple J? You want Jaime Hawkes? Do you want Casper's? Who was projected to be a lottery pick? I think it's a lot of ways you can go with that. Um, who else? Who else? Do you have any other teams, Lawrence, or what do you think about the teams I listed there?
Well, see, the thing is, I don't even know. Like, there's so many teams where Giannis would immediately just change their whole landscape. But then the other teams, I feel like that are just kind of never gonna have a shot. But honestly, maybe if they could make some noise. Like Toronto, I feel like Toronto, if they could convince them to
Yeah.
come over, that would change everything for them. And honestly, what the team could do this season uh, might change completely. Um,
Yeah.
but probably the taxation thing, maybe not so good. I know he's in Milwaukee now. That can't be the most pleasant, but you know. But then who can they provide back in return? Honestly, a team I think could be like on the cusp of rebuilding, like a Mavs. Okay, well, maybe the Cooper Flag didn't work. Well, maybe we get Cooper Flag and Giannis, and then we get these scraps that might be able. I mean, we're gonna call them scraps because they already gutted half their team. What's the point in not trying or trying again? He gets a no taxation state, and he can just reap the benefits. You kind of have a cheap Flag for a little bit until, well, you have to pay
Yep.
him big money.
This is true. The Mavs, I think they're probably lower on the list, but if the Bucks want AD and whatever other pieces that they could offer, then maybe. Uh, the Cavs are an interesting one because the Cavs, I feel like, have enough to make a trade and would probably beat out other teams like Toronto or even Miami. If the Cavs are willing to give up Mobley and, let's say, Garland for Giannis and whatever picks they want, I feel like that's just as competitive with whatever offer the Spurs would make. And the Cavs would actually probably be the best team not named the Thunder. Because you got Donovan Mitchell, you got Giannis, you got DeAndre Hunter, you still got Jared Allen. I really like that team. You got Max Strus. That's a pretty good team.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is a damn good team.
But I mean, I would think he stays in the East. I don't really think going to the West makes sense unless you go to the Spurs. And OKC, I just don't. At 20 and what, they're 20-1, 21-1. Like, I don't think they make a trade for Giannis and mess a good thing up. So that's not really a possibility in my eyes. But definitely something we got to keep our eyes on. I think very much could happen sooner than later, honestly. And then we got the conference championships for college football. Um, There's a lot of games this Saturday. We got what SEC championship, ACC championship. We got the Big 12. We got the Big 10. Where should we start, Lawrence? Where should we start? I think Lawrence might have disconnected y'all, so we're just gonna continue on with the rest of these. We got Indiana, Ohio State. Indiana's got a quarterback this year, so I don't think this is a walk in the park for Ohio State. I'm gonna take Ohio State just because Julian Saint's been playing. I mean, damn, probably the best quarterback play. Uh, if you want to say that, Simpson's little decline in the past couple of games have had an effect. But yeah, I think he has like 78% completion percentage, which is insane. 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Ohio State's defense, their very highly paid defense is working for them. I don't see them losing this one or anytime soon. Honestly, I think they beat Indiana and Indianapolis, and then we got Duke versus UVA in Charlotte. I think UVA just take this one. They're probably feeling pretty good after spanking the Hokies last weekend. So they're gonna ride high off of that and go win the ACC, and this will be their first CFP appearance. So should be exciting if you are a UVA fan out there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Conference championships this weekend. It'll be interesting to see next week how everything plays out. Who gets in, if who loses. Tulane's projected to get in there as the other non Power Five, or in this case Power Four champion. But if JMU wins and a couple of teams lose, then they might get a shot to get in there as well. So it'll be interesting to see how everything pans out after conference championships take place. And then I believe the first round of the playoffs start next week. So besides the 4 teams that get the bye, the top 4 teams get the bye. So should be very interesting, guys. But I think we're going to call it after that. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening on Spotify, all that good stuff. And we will see you next week. Peace.
Me window